Good evening. Ira Epstein of Linn & Associates with your metal market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for March 30th, 2021, just after 6:35 p.m. First thing, I just sent out the email that allows you to purchase your enhanced Bollinger Band course to all my subscribers. It only went out to my paid subscribers. There's quite a few of them. So let's get that rolling. And tomorrow, if you're on my mailing list, the rest of you will be getting that. So look forward to it. I think you'll find the course quite interesting. I think it's the best type of course like this I've ever done. I love my full charting course, otherwise I wouldn't have published it. But this now going into areas with all the things I've learned in the past 3 to 5 years more, this is the way to go with it because that's the base level. Okay, enough of that. So let's talk about what's going on because I had an epiphany. You love when you get these. The stock market, we crossed today the 177 level in the 10-year note. You put pressure on the stock market, you drove the dollar higher, metal markets got hammered. That is the only right word that you could use. Why? The same story we've been talking about. Until you get the COVID-19 under control in Europe, India, other emerging countries, this is what we've got. There's a bit of fear here that if you listen to the CDC director saying that we might see another wave in America if we don't get real smart real fast, which we're not doing. I mean, I look at the spring break kids, and how could you tell me that they're wearing their masks? So just look at TV. Don't get me wrong, not everyone isn't wearing a mask. But what I'm seeing, at least, there's quite a few not wearing masks. They're going to travel back home, and God knows what they bring with them. But as you take the market up with it, what do you do to the metals? Well, the metals don't have a reason to really move yet until we get to the scenario where U.S. interest rates start choking off the economy. We're not there at this point. Other people's economies are picking up, and the inflation spiral can also get a chance to take on, and our rates stop because it'll choke the economy too much. That's what I came up with. I don't think I'm too off the money on that. When we look at the gold on a weekly chart of closes, you keep the bias to the downside. This is a great, in my opinion, a great way when I look at a chart. I don't know how you feel about it, but when I look at the bias, it's a filter for me. And I love what this does because it's simple. That's what I think so great about it. It's simple. I'm not reading a lot of graphic data. Hey, it's under the 18-week average. The bias is down. End of the discussion. Then you go to the daily charts, and here's what we look like here. Did we not leak through? You and I were just talking. Were we going to come back and challenge this whole area? Go back 3 days or so on these videos, and that's what we were talking about. And now the market's done it. You have the pattern of lower highs, lower lows, and prior to today, you started that breakdown, and this is when we were talking. So this is Monday. That's when I think we were talking about that. You can see what it's done, and tonight's a pause. Market's under the 18-day average. I brought it up for that day because when you got through that, as you can see, this is what you were looking like on Friday. This is where you were now Tuesday, which is today, and now you're into Wednesday's trade. In case I'm saying Wednesday, that flip-flop is you're back into the Wednesday trade for today. It's all nutty. But when you look at that, that's exactly what I was saying. Now, one of the areas that I was looking for support was the Bollinger Band. And this is what we were talking about. Would it go down towards that level? It did. It got under it. It's fighting right at it tonight. That's what you'd expect. Markets only stay under that number 5% of the time. That does not mean the market can't run with that number lower. There's nothing bullish on the chart. Maybe momentum got itself oversold. That would be the only thing. And you are in oversold territory. So you have an oversold market that's challenged the Bollinger Band again. That's often a sign where the pros start taking money off the table. That's how I interpret the chart. Okay? Now, if it rallies, do I think they'll sell? Not right here. You're oversold. I then take a look at what the gold-silver ratio is doing, and I'm still leaving that way up there just to give you the idea of what it was all the way back. But I want enough width on this so you can see what we're looking at. I started telling you Monday. I said, I think this market can run up like it's got the resistance, and this is what I've been telling my subscribers as well on the weekly charts, that this ratio at the 70 level is where the market should encounter some trouble. That's about where I'm looking for. When you look at silver, the lower high, lower low, we just talked yesterday here about the fact that the market had no trouble getting under the 200-day average and it's let go. Is it getting overdone? Yes. You're back under the Bollinger Band on a closing basis. You only do that 5% of the time, but you're pushing it lower. You don't ever, in my opinion, I want to use that clear. When I say you don't ever on something, if you were sitting next to me, that's how I'd be talking to you. You don't buy under Bollinger Bands except to cover shorts. If you want to go long, that's fine, that's yours, but I can't find a technique that should do that. When I look at copper, I'm looking for the support right here. Why? Because it's done it each time, and then from there it gets some piece of news and it comes back up. I like the fact that it's falling. I want it to fall further because I think down the road it's going to look so good. I didn't realize in an electric battery how much copper it uses compared to a regular internal combustion engine. It's 4 times the amount. That's an awful lot of copper. When you take a look at platinum, getting oversold, stuck in the Bollinger Bands, an overall sideways action, no trend. You have a lower low, higher high in the market. In the palladium market, it acts to me like it wants to now get back to the 18-day average of closes. This was what you call right here. That was the day that the earth ended for the palladium market. How's that? The market lost its way in this bullish trend, and now it's sort of drifting back down, trying to get over to that number. We'll see what it does there. It's already out of an overbought condition. In the dollar index, you have the embedded reading now. This just adds fuel to the fire. You're pouring that gasoline right on it. So now as the market pulls back in here, I'm looking for the pros to continue buying and to continue on that buying on breaks to kick out against the Bollinger Band, but to hold a core position until the red line closes back under 80. Then we get to the Ethereum April contract. Remember, I'm doing this one here, and I'm doing Bitcoin in the financials. And by the way, on Bitcoin and for all these, PayPal now is taking these. So as you're getting it's going to be more of the credit card companies now that PayPal's in it. So you're getting more and more of people that are willing to take these. Do I know if anybody's actually using them? I don't know. I don't know if anybody's done anything with Elon Musk on the Teslas. I'd like them to tell us how many people have done it. Remember, Tesla said they're not going to sell back their Bitcoins. They're holding them as an investment in the company. So, you know, that when it changes, it changes. But you have a lower low, higher high, markets narrowing in Bollinger Bands that were much wider. We'll wait and see what this market wants to do. So the best thing I can tell you, hey, we'll tell you what the market offers. Metal market should not be that interesting to the upside, short covering at best right now. And as long as interest rates continue to grind higher, and that's the word I want to use here, grind higher, we look. This is the week we get the ADP, the Challenger numbers, and we're going to be getting the jobs data on Friday. All of this is very important. They're looking for 1 million people getting new jobs. What will that do to interest rates is something you got to ask yourself. If they go up off that news, what does that do to the metals? I'm Ira Epstein. I will talk to you all tomorrow. Take care.